there are different types of gardens. Did you know that? Did you know that? There are different types of gardens. I never knew that. Wow. We know so little of other people's cultures sometimes. And again, knowledge is power. As Dr. Ben Carson says, knowledge is power. And knowing about Japanese culture, knowing about what is valuable to them and how these people are, could be an insight, could be a bridge to making a friendship, or if you go and visit and you are aware and you're able to act more respectfully and treat people with kindness and assimilate almost. People always find it flattering when one partakes in their culture and appreciates and respects their culture. Who wouldn't find that flattering? So being aware and having some information is just gonna make your life easier. I remember seeing one of those funny videos online, and it's just a Caucasian white guy, and he's going around and he's genuinely speaking Vietnamese or Chinese and stuff. You know what all the ladies did? All the ladies went in the back and they gave him extra dumplings. They kept bringing him out food. They were like, "Oh, here's this. It's on us. It's on us." And then they'll look at him. They'll be like, "Oh, did you? You have such." I mean, they'll say it in language, but they'll be like, "Oh, you have such a good accent. You're so good. Oh my goodness." People are genuinely flattered when you take interest in them, and I mean, how could it not be interesting to see how different people are and the things that are they are magnificent and good at? How could that not be awesome? But yes. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. But yeah, it's so cool. It is so cool. But let me show you then the different types of gardens in Japanese culture. So, Japanese gardens can be classified in three types. There are landscape, which is hills and pond, the dry garden, which represents natural scenery without water, and the third, the tea garden, which provides an approach to tea houses. Furthermore, the Japanese garden can be classified into six types according to its function and relationship to architecture. The people have six different types. Six different types? I only knew that they had beautiful gardens. That's all. But six? Wow. The residential garden, the paradise garden, the Zen garden, the tea garden, the stroll garden, and the westernized garden. Wow. They did a westernized one. That's so cool. And I like that. That means again, like I said, they gave us those trees. They gifted that 400-year-old tree to us. Wow. The residential garden is what I have up now, and let me tell you some description while you look at that. This garden is designated for noble houses, the so-called Shinden-zukuri, palace-style garden, designed not only for viewing but also for entertainment, boating, or ceremonies such as poem parties. This garden was planted mainly to be viewed from one side of the building. Paradise Garden, which is the next one, Paradise Garden was developed as the idea of pure land spread among aristocrats. The purpose of the Paradise Garden is to visualize the pure land. A major example, Paradise Garden, which is designed with a temple housing the Buddha statue as its focal point. So I tried my best to look at different types of ones for the gardens, and I think this one is what best maybe looks at it in terms of like the visualizing the pure land. Yeah, I guess all of these, like we're just looking at the land and we're just trying to make it as, you know, normal and non-obstructive and, sparse, not overcrowding, just again, putting it as nature would be. The Zen Garden. The Zen Garden are for meditation, which was developed in the Kamakaru period when political power shifted from the nobility to the military and Zen Buddhism became popular. Gardens for the highest status Zen monks' residences, also called Hojo, were generally on flat ground around the building. They set rocks on this flat ground and created dry gardens. An attached veranda ran around the building from which gardens on all four sides could be viewed, or they could be viewed from within the building. Unlike the palace style garden, the Zen garden was intended for observation only, not for activities. The scenery of the Zen garden is not meant for visual image, of the Buddha's world, but to reflect the abstract cosmology or goals of Zen, which could be interpreted in infinite ways. Yeah. Ooh, which one is your favorite, guys? I'm thinking, hmm, it's so hard. I want to say the one at the bottom is my favorite, but I don't know. I think maybe this one or or, or this. They're all my favorite. I can't decide. I can't decide. But luckily we don't have to decide. We get them all. We get them all. The tea garden, built for the tea house, which emerged during the Muromachi period, when the tea ceremony was established. The tea garden is a small passage to the tea house, designed to let visitors forget about the outside world and mentally prepare for the tea ceremony within a few short steps. Because the tea house, if the is like the minimum size necessary to perform the tea ceremony, well, you see the depiction of tea ceremony up top of leading up and what you would expect going into that house. So everything is compact and everything is smaller. The water basin, the stone lanterns, a bench, that kind of stuff. Visitors, they prepare the entry of the tea house using these garden elements as part of the way of tea. Unlike the Zen garden, which is designed for only viewing, the tea gardens is a space for visitors to use and move through. They have they have different gardens for different uses. Isn't that fascinating? There's a tea garden, there's a Zen garden, there's a garden for reading poetry, there's a garden for just the natural elements to observe nature as the seasons change. That is phenomenal. We have over here the large scale garden for strolling, the so called daimyo garden or stroll garden, built by feudal lords, mainly in the Tokyo area during the long, peaceful Edo period between 1603 to 1868 BC. I'm sorry, between 1603 to 1868 CE. These gardens have a large pond at the center and many sceneries created for visitors to walk through. Mhm. The main purpose of these gardens is leisure, and they reflect a variety of themes, confusion, Confucian thoughts in different areas, and classic literature in Katsura Imperial Villa. Wow. I had to show you one more, a couple more, just to give you a last one we're thinking about. And the sixth type, we talked about it, is the Western influence. And for this one, we're kind of putting in everything. It's a modernization and westernization. The new style Japanese garden design during this period dispensed with the classic Japanese symbolism in rocks and plants and represented a visual image of the Japanese landscape without miniaturization. The main purpose of this type of garden was for the enjoyment of natural scenery without metaphoric themes.